Hey guys, so we have the no item run for the Goku Black Red Zone stage. Now, this stage is definitely tricky and takes a little bit of luck to kind of pan out the no item run, right? So the idea that I had was, instead of bringing Golden Frieza, which I was trying on the stream, and it wasn't really his fault we were losing, we were just getting really unlucky with the slot 1 attacks, but with the Worldwide Download Celebration summons, I pulled 2 copies of the World Tournament Goku. So now, you know, with World Tournament Goku being the best TUR in my opinion, this made things a significant amount easier, right? Like significantly easier, excuse me. The big issue that I was running into was the supers in slot 1 for Super Saiyan 4 Goku, because you guys can see, based on that 150k normal he just took, in slot 1 on that first attack he can get caught, right? Because he hasn't built up his defense yet or anything like that. And that is really where you're going to see the significant difference on how he's going to look defensively. You know, rather than taking 800k from a super, he's taking, you know, a little bit like, you know, almost like cutting that in half, right? So, you know, most of the time he's taking 750 to 800k on that super if he doesn't get his defensive build up first, and that is kind of what was giving me the most trouble, because, you know, you are basically forced to running him in slot 1 because that's where he gets his damage reduction, so you don't want to float him off or anything like that. And that is sort of how this rotation played out, or this run played out, right? What makes this run different from most of the runs that I've been doing is, you know, most of the time Piccolo is like locked into being slot 1 or slot 2 as like a tank and stuff like that, just because he's doing so much, right? Orange Piccolo in slot 2 is, or like in slot 1, just defensively is a tank. You want to have him on rotation, so that way when his orange form comes out, you have access to it and you don't have to wait for, like, you know, another turn, right? So you don't have to do every 3 turns rather than, you know, you get the idea, right? You see him every 2 turns rather than every 3. So what I did in this run is I floated him off. And right here is also where, like, you make your money, right? So I thought for a minute that was a dodge, but no, it's the nullification. So there you go. Build up the attack and defense on the nullification with World Tournament Goku. But in this run in specific, you guys are going to see it. We don't get Orange Piccolo, and we also don't get the revive buffs for World Tournament Goku. So, like, the whole reason that I brought World Tournament Goku, we didn't even get to take advantage of it, right? So, you know, a very bizarre run, but something else you guys will notice is just the sheer amount of, like, just the impact that Super Saiyan 4 Goku standby has on the game, right? Giving that extra defense to the whole team is just beyond busted, right? So what we're looking for here is the int orbs right there, so we can get, you know, basically get that full charge right now. Gohan's up to his 24 key, and I think you guys are going to be pretty impressed with how Gohan looks in this run, right? Like, when I made that video talking about how Ultimate Gohan is one of the most underrated units in the game, I meant that. Like, he's crazy good still. And, you know, you don't, just because you aren't, you know, top 10, top 5, doesn't mean you aren't crazy good, right? Like, Legends, or not Legends, but Dokkan works in a different way than a lot of games where if you're not in the top 3, you can still be extremely viable and get a lot of mileage. Like, you really don't need to be the best unit in the game or competing with the best units in the game to still be good and be more than usable, right? That's the beauty of the PvE environment that Dokkan brings to the table. So that is really beneficial, but like you guys are going to see right here, Ultimate Gohan, he takes a super, but like, compared to what we're used to seeing, it's not bad at all, right? Like, I would say, you know, like, you know, all things considered, being type disadvantage against one of the hardest hitting bosses in the game right now, this is like pretty impressive tanking, right? So you guys will see it after this super right here. The number isn't double digits, like don't get it twisted, but it's very impressive, like the amount of like the, you know, just the sheer tanking he does on this. So this is obviously without an item active, and he could have nullified that too. He only took 315k and then double digits from a normal right there. So that's pretty good. Like, you really can't like overestimate how good, like, you know, how good that tanking was, in my opinion. So boom, there we go. And you know, this is the last turn that we are going to be, I believe this is the last turn for this phase. And then we move on to the Rose phase with full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku out. So what we get when we get full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku out is we get his, what's the word? We get his guard active for that first turn. So there's really just no way that Rose is going to hurt him. And that's kind of where we want to be, right? Because the primary strategy with this team that we're running is we want to get the revival from the GT duo, so World Tournament Goku can really shine and look his best. And this World Tournament Goku is not link leveled yet. Like, this guy is basically fresh out of the box, like a couple level 2 links, maybe a level 3, and then some skill orbs. Like, you know, he's, he's not very like far along, and he is just more than holding his own in some of the hardest content And again, when I was talking about how we get lucky in this run, this is another example of that. So right now, we're going to be able to bring out full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. We have a reliable slot 1 tank, and then we also have the GT Duo, who's going to be able to get their damage reduction is fully built up at this point. So really, the only thing that can cost us this run at the moment is a bad super. But based on the sheer amount of attacks that are in slot 1, I'm pretty confident that the super would be for full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And if like it was on the GT Duo, that would just be unlucky because you're playing the numbers game at that point, and obviously the GT Duo is not a slot 1 tank in this situation. So full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku was the only play right here. You get 8.5 million right there, still has his guard active, and now the super comes from Rose, so we have nothing to worry about. I believe he takes this for 30k, 45k, not bad, and that's 55%, I believe that was. The friend one hasn't been able to come out yet, I don't think. So that is something that, the one thing that goes wrong in this run, you guys will see it on this next turn, but we get Super Saiyan 4 Goku standby going, but there's not enough int orbs to reliably get like a consistent like ability to tank, right? Because Oob is reliant on getting orbs as well to be like look at his best, and we don't get the orbs that we need because it's not like we don't have just like a get out of jail free card, right? We don't have like the Vegeta revive or anything like that, so there's nothing we can do at that point, and we just kind of have to play it out and hope that he tanks it. But you know, you guys are seeing this video, so obviously it does work, but it was a bit of a risky situation to say the least. Like it was very scary. But one thing to note here, we do have the standby with Oob. We also have the Bestio active skill, Mr. Beast Gohan. Boom, there we go. We get an attack break. And now that could have been a super, right? Like that very well could have been. So again, we get really unlucky with the orbs right there. Only get 3, and then we put Beast Gohan in slot 2 because he is going to, like, he'll only get his 18 key right here, but he is type advantage, and I'm pretty confident that he's going to be able to get the job done. So we are sacrificing World Tournament Goku. If we do get the revive, we won't be able to use it to see the buff for Goku. But again, it was just kind of the way it played out. I felt that that was the safest play. Take the type advantage for Rose because I don't want to underestimate how hard he hits. And then we just let Ultimate Gohan do his thing. We got the active skill, we got the attack break, and you know, this is like pretty much, this isn't the hardest fight in the game. I think Omega's still harder than this in terms of just like overall fight, just how long the fight is, how many things you have to worry about with the AoE and stuff like that. But this fight's up there. This is a really, really hard fight. Considering, you know, the limited attempts makes it a little bit tricky. Like, I think this is day 3 of the event being live. It took me to get the no item run, but with the unlimited attempts in the Shadow Dragon event, I was able to get the no item run day 1. But, you know, that's just kind of how they play it out, or it might have been day 2, I forget. But right here, full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku's getting his 24 key. The GT Duo obviously getting their 24 key, and it's just like, look at the amount of key that we have on this team, right? Like, that's just the importance of these standbys. We have so much key, right? Like, basically every unit getting 18 key for free is huge. So right here, we don't have the guard. This will be a good gauge, right? So see, full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku can like still take damage, right? That's just how hard this Rose hits. But 318k against the super that's well over 1 million damage is really good tanking. So we can't complain about that. So we get a guaranteed crit right there for 8.5, and then I believe the GT Duo goes ahead and cleans up for us. You can see their attack stat is pretty high at this point. So that was the no item run for the Rose Goku Black stage. If you want to copy this team, if you're a JP main, that should be easy enough. But if you are on global, I would say you want to use, hopefully, your new Vegito Blue setup, and that should be more than enough to take care of this. You can run Vegeta and Trunks in this event, and they'll work just fine as well. But this was, in my opinion, just we got to take advantage of the JP exclusives that we have. So I used him to get the no item run for this specific run. So let me know what you guys think of the team down below. Let me know how your runs went. Let me know how your summons went, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.